Carolyn Dube here. Oh, what's the play for today? Well, I've been hanging out at the hardware store again and I found a new gel printing tool. Now, these are from the molding and trim section and I was so excited when I saw them. I mean, it even came in 2 sizes and they were like a couple of bucks a piece. I don't have any idea what the proper name of these things is, but I do know it's in the molding and trim section. And so I grabbed these and then I came home and played around with them and I was amazed at what prints something so simple as this could make with just one single color. I'm going to start out by putting a thin layer of paint on here. And for some of you, that may be really easy to do. For me, I have to think really hard to get a thin layer of paint on there. That's why I bought those nozzles that go on the Amsterdam paints, because it allows me to more easily control how much paint is coming out. You might have noticed that I give it a little twist before I put some paint out. That's me opening it up. And then when I'm done, I just twist it back and then it's closed. All right, so now I'm going to take these fancy tools from the hardware store and I'm just going to put it on there like a stamp. And you can push hard with these. Gel plates can take it. If you push down harder, you're more likely to get the center spot in it because it's recessed a bit. So it's easier for me to get that to show up on the smaller ones. That's why you'll notice there's a little circle in the center of those. But on the larger ones, to get that to happen, I really have to push down. Now, of course, you can carefully plot out and plan exactly what you're going to do for the pattern to get things perfectly spaced. And if that brings you joy, then absolutely do it. I like to go with the more impatient, wing it, see what happens, and just alternate between the big one and the little one until the entire plate is filled in. So on this print, I'm going to have areas with the big circle, areas with the little circle, and then there are even some areas where I didn't put anything. So let's get a piece of paper on top of this so we can take the pull. Now I managed to get a really thin layer of paint on the plate for this. And so that means after I take this first pull, there's probably not going to be a lot of paint left on the plate to get much of a ghost pull. But that's okay because I absolutely love this print. Now let's try a slightly different technique. But before I get into that, I gotta manage to get the paint out of the tube. I am at the very, very end of this tube. I love this color. And I ordered more, but it's on back order. So you guys are getting the last drops of this paint, this precious color that I'm in love with right now, so I can show you what this will look like. So I did manage to get enough on there. I've got more than what I had for the first print. And that's important to have a little bit more paint. I don't want it super, super thin for this one. Now, in the last print, you saw me neatly positioning each one. This time, I'm going to be overlapping them. I'm not thinking nearly as much. I'm just kind of slapping stuff down here so that I get this pattern all over the place. I'm going to fill the entire plate in with these. They're going to be overlapping one on top of the other, sometimes 2 on top of another. The goal is to just get a whole bunch of it on there. Now, if you're new to gel printing, I want you to know that this is just the tip of the iceberg of ways you can make prints. I've actually got a video where I show 600 different ways to make a print. And that video also has a printable that goes with it, so you can print that out and have it when you're playing. So if you'd like me to send both of those over to you, just use the link down below, let me know your email, and the computer elves will do the rest. Now I am about to have a problem. Once I've got this plate the way I want it, I reached for some paper and oops, I was all out there. So I had to scramble around, find a piece, but thankfully I didn't have to go far. When you're printing, make sure you keep paper nearby. It just makes it a lot easier. Oh, and the paper that I'm using, by the way, is a 90-pound cardstock. Not because it's the perfect paper for it. It's just the paper that I enjoy. So whatever paper you've got, copy paper, old scrapbooking paper, junk mail, whatever it is you like to use, absolutely use the paper you like. Now, I am in love with this print. I love the sort of architectural blueprint kind of vibe that it's got going with it. And I guess I shouldn't be too surprised since this is stuff that came from the hardware store. Thanks so much for joining me for today's play. If you've enjoyed this video, if you've had fun, I'd so appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. And if you know somebody that might enjoy gel printing, share this video with them so they can join in the fun too. Well, thanks so much for letting me be a part of your colorful journey.